Hey guys, it's Francisca and welcome to your monthly guidance reading for September. Can you believe it? We are already in the month of September. This year has really had some different energy all the way through. I don't know about you guys, but August was a month of integration for me. And I don't know how you're feeling, but the theme of integration kept coming up this morning in my morning pages. There's also this feeling of balancing the masculine and the feminine energy, and whether you identify as a male or female, that energy is needed in all of us. We need both the masculine and the feminine. The masculine, the structured, the doing, the action-oriented, the fiery energy. We need that to get things done. But we also need that more fluid, more flexible, and gentle and passive energy, the creative energy from the feminine. We need both. We can't just have all of these ideas of creation without acting them out. So we need both. And I really feel like this month's reading might have something to do with that. I mean, it may not, but I'm really feeling called to kind of speak to some of you about this balancing of the doing and the resting, the action-oriented part of us, but then also the nurturing side of us, the side of us that allows us to just be with ourselves, just feel into that. I think that that's also really important, to feel into whatever it is that you're feeling, because it feels like there's a lot of feelings, and sometimes all you have to do is sit with them and feel them and make space for those feelings to breathe so that you can find a way to move forward. So I feel like that's really important to say for some reason. Maybe it'll land with some of you and maybe it won't resonate with the others of you. But as always, take what resonates and leave the rest behind. So this month I do have 3 different readings for you to choose from. As usual, I am using different crystals or stones for each of the readings. I felt really called to Howlite for the first reading, and this is an amazing stone for anxiety or helping to clear anxiety. Also, it's really great for insomnia. It's a really good stone to have like next to your bed or even underneath your pillow. It's really, really great for helping to clear out that anxiety, to get you into a balanced space. And then also if you wake up in the middle of the night, as I know some of us do, and can't get back to sleep, Howlite is a really great stone to either, have in your palm, place on your third eye, or underneath the pillow. If you're not one of those people that slides their hand under their pillow, that might be a good idea. If you're one of those people, then maybe by the nightstand would be a good idea. But again, this is a really great stone for insomnia and anxiety and all of those other things that I just said. For the second reading, I will be using blue lace agate or blue lace agate. I like saying agate. This is really great for soothing communication. This is really great for the throat chakra to help you express yourself in a way that you feel is authentic to you. This is a really great stone. Also for anxiety too. I think that that's a theme of this month. There's a lot of future tripping for some of you guys. Maybe not, but that's the second reading that we'll be using the blue lace agate for. The third reading, I'll be using Amethyst Chevron. This is a really great stone for third eye activation, for crown chakra activation, really good for clear perception, for remembering that we're connected, and remembering that everything is connected. So I think sometimes we get so mired in the day-to-day stuff that we forget that there's a bigger picture especially when the day-to-day stuff is really frustrating and annoying, we can forget that, there is a bigger picture, and that there's more to what's going on than what we can actually see. And so this helps us kind of clear our vision and clear our perception and tap into that third eye, tap into our intuition, our inner knowing, our inner wisdom, our sage. So I'll leave a timestamp in the description box below so you can skip to your reading if you wanted to do that, or you can sit through all of the readings. But if you're ready to get started, I am. So let's get started with our first reading, the Howlite Reading. Again, howlite is a really great stone to help with anxiety and insomnia, and helping to soothe and calm, and helping you to get back into that centered space, back to that core of the person that you normally are, without the anxiety and without the, all right, so let's go. That one's coming out. Without the anxiety and without the feelings of restlessness and things that come with insomnia. So I'm doing current energy, which just came out, and I'm also going to do a focus and a guidance. So current energy is just kind of like where you are now. For this reading, I feel like focus is going to be either where you need to focus or where you maybe are focused. It could be one or both of them. And then the final one is going to be the guidance from source. Sometimes we can get a little lost in what is, and lose sight of the bigger picture. And so sometimes that focus can be a multitude of things, like where to place your energy, or where you are placing your energy. All right, I feel like that one wants to come out. Oh, wow. Okay. So this is, each of these cards tells a story on their own. Sometimes it can be like a progression of things, and other times it can just be an amalgamation of what's going on. And I feel like in this sense, it is a little bit of both. I feel like there is a progression, and then it kind of is one big, there's a theme to it. And I want to start off with your focus, where your focus wants to go, where the guidance from source is leading you into this focus space. But yeah, so the focus for you is the King of Wands. And the King of Wands is all about mastering the creative energy and taking that creative energy and kind of like building a structure with it, and showing it to the world and saying, this is what I've created, and I've created it because I've mastered my creative mind. I've done the things that I've needed to do, but it doesn't come, like, it doesn't always come easy. And this makes sense with the howlite being the crystal for this reading. And so your current energy is a Seven of Swords, feeling like you've been taken advantage of, feeling like somebody's come and just like repeatedly done these things to you. Maybe it feels like the universe is repeatedly doing these things to you. And it can really feel like you're stuck in the mind, stuck in this place of feeling, again, taken advantage of, feeling like somebody has taken something from you, and really feeling like it's happened, out of nowhere, even though it's happened repeatedly. And the reason that I keep saying repeatedly is because this is the feeling that I'm getting, like, again, like, why do I always have to deal with this again? But it's hard to get from this place where you feel, again, taken advantage of, feel like, things have not gone your way, into feeling a space of, having, taken the energy that you've had, that burning creative fire, the home fire, the action-oriented self, coming from a place of disadvantage into coming to a place of advantage. But the King of Wands didn't get where he was by letting things like this, by letting this Seven of Swords energy beat him down. Like, he didn't, though people may have done things, or he may have been put in situations where people, either took advantage of him or tried to, knock down his progress, he still progressed. He still took that as a lesson. He took these lessons of misfortune and went ahead and focused them into this creative energy where he could take that fire outside of himself and really, really master that that lion energy, really master the energy of strength, and really be able to make something with it, to be successful with it. And so he used all the losses and he learned from the losses to get to this focused space. And that's where Source wants you to go. Source wants you to take all of the things that have happened and know that you can really use them for momentum. Use them for momentum to really look at these things in a new light. And the guidance for you is to look at this in a new way. The Ace of Swords is the beginning of a new thought, beginning of new ideas, really at the beginning stage. And so it's all a cycle and it's all about integrating those past losses, those past hurts, focusing them into this single idea, focusing them into the single idea so that you can really manifest all of the successes and really be able to be proud of those successes, because it does take a lot to come from the Seven of Swords energy, this feeling of being taken advantage of, this feeling of seeing people being taken advantage of. Maybe that's also the perspective too. Maybe you're watching, you might be watching people being taken advantage of, and you're standing in your truth, standing in your creative energies. Not really creative energy though. It also feels like standing in the truth of who you are, standing and taking that that fire of who you are and really holding it, not throwing it at people, but holding it and taking responsibility for who you are as a person and your reactions and your response, and allowing that to turn into this new idea, this new fruitful, creative idea that really starts a new way of thinking for you, that really isn't mired in the past losses or the what's going to be in the future. It's really the centered focus that is your focus for this month. So that's the reading for the Howlite reading. Now for the Blue Lace Agate reading. Again, Blue Lace Agate is a really great stone for the throat chakra, for communication, for soothing those lightning storms of communication that sometimes can happen when anger wells up. And yeah, it's a really great crystal for throat chakra activation. Throat chakra activation isn't just about expressing yourself, it's also about listening. In order to communicate effectively, we also have to listen. Sometimes it can be hard for us to hear what somebody else is saying, especially when what somebody else is saying doesn't feel right to us and doesn't sound right to us. But again, there's this feeling of needing to process feelings first before responding, and this crystal really helps to do that. And so we are doing current energy focus and a guidance for the month of September for Lace Agate. And so current energy, focus, and guidance. So let's see. All right. So really using the energy of this crystal and making sure that we are listening before we respond, and really not just listening to the other person, but also listening to ourselves, our inner guidance. Sometimes things that are built on shaky foundations really don't have any space to go but to crumble. And that is the guidance, is to find the light within the crumbling of something that was built on shaky ground to begin with. This is one of the most beautiful tower cards that I've seen by far. And I think that it's so funny because this is probably the only card in the deck that has this little bit of damage to it. I'm really good about taking care of my cards, and I don't know how this happened with the Tower card, but if you see, there is this crack in this card, and the reason that I'm bringing this up is because this is such a beautiful card, and there is still this imperfection, which makes it even more beautiful. It's in the imperfection that we can find the light. Sometimes when things are not working well, and we know in our heart, we know in our body, we know in our mind even, that things aren't supposed to be this way. There is this feeling of imperfection. Nothing can always be perfect, right? But there's this feeling of something isn't right here. And that's what the Tower has come to say. Like, there's something that's in your life that you know is not working well, that just really needs to be cleared away so that you can start anew. In this deck, in this card, the Tower, it's got like some butterflies coming out. It's got this little rabbit or raccoon rabbit, I think it is. But it's really got all of these beautiful fireflies and butterflies all around it that's coming from this lightning that strikes this tree that really is just like dead anyways. But the thing that happens when you bring the shadow to the light is that you can move forward. Sometimes there's some stuff that's really deep down inside that we're not even aware of. And so the guidance for you this month is really to help yourself move forward and really pass that. I don't even want to say dark night of the soul, because the rest isn't like that. So I don't feel like this is a big upheaval. I feel like it's something that you know is kind of coming, that kind of is crumbling down a foundation that wasn't working, because your current energy is guardedness, guarding your groundedness close to your heart, grounding your financial stability close to your heart, really holding on to those things and really not allowing anybody to kind of get into that space of your groundiness, really protecting yourself. This isn't a nurturing card. This is something where you're protecting yourself. The difference between nurturing and protecting is you're closing off so that nobody can get to you and nobody can get to the things that you want. Nurturing is taking care of yourself. So regardless of what happens outside of you, you know that you can process your feelings. You know that you can process those things inside of you. When you protect your money, it's really about, making sure that you don't lose any money. But when you nurture your money, it's about making sure that what you have is stable and can grow. So there is that difference in protecting and nurturing. And I think it's really important because that's where your current energy is protecting yourself. Like, I don't want this other stuff to happen, and I don't want to be taken advantage of. Again, that there's this feeling of being taken advantage of. I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to protect myself against all that stuff. I don't want all this. And I'm just like, because like it feels like you can't even take a deep breath. So if this is you, like it really feels like you can't take a deep breath because you're so in this space of guardedness and in this space of closing off. But then the focus for you becomes moving forward. Taking this energy that is this guarded energy and moving forward into making a choice and leaving all that other stuff behind, leaving the guardedness behind so that you can move forward into this space where sometimes people don't like seeing this card, but the thing about this card is that when you see it, you kind of know what's coming. You kind of know that there's something that is shaky, that isn't really working for you anymore. It could be a breakup. It could be some unexpected news, like maybe moving to a different job or to a different position, or maybe even moving homes, or maybe feeling like there's something in the home that gets destroyed. But again, it's to pull things out that you weren't really happy with anyways and put in something new that is your choice, that is your happiness, that does feel like it can be a stable foundation. And I really, again, want to talk about bringing the shadow to the light, because it's in those dark places that things can live for a long time and really make you sick. And if you're not paying attention to them, if you don't bring them to the light, then it can cause some dis-ease in your body, in your mind, in your living life. And so really getting rid of those things that don't work is a way to move forward and move into a healthier space. So that's the reading for the blue lace agate. And for third reading, I am using Amethyst Chevron. Again, a really great stone for third eye and crown chakra activation. This stone is really great to help for perception, for intuition, with remembering that we are connected to a bigger picture. And so I'm doing current energy and a focus card and a guidance card. So let's see. Okay, so current energy. Ooh, all right, they're all coming out. Focus and guidance. Okay. Wow. Okay. So, I don't even know where to start with this one. I feel like there is so much energy here. I think I'm going to, wow, like I don't even know where I'm feeling pulled towards. This is interesting, because usually I'm like right zoning into a card, but I feel like if this is your energy, there may be a bunch of different things on the horizon and you're just not sure where to go. But really planting those seeds of intention, and really planting those seeds of groundedness, really putting the work in so that you can be in a stable, grounded place. And there really feels like, I mean, there's never a bad reading. I don't feel like this is a bad reading because there's nothing in here that says so. But I really feel like there is some perception issues. Like, you are doing great. Like, you really are. Like, you've laid the groundwork and you're laying more groundwork for things to happen. And the focus for you is the world, like really completing the cycle and really coming across in this space that is it's so funny because it feels like there's so many things that are going on in your mind, but it feels like you're really stuck in the space of looking at the past and looking and watching to make sure that you haven't made any mistakes in the things that you've planted before. But the world is opening up to you. There's really this energy of, you know, having completed these cycles of transformation and really coming across in a celebratory mode. But it feels like you're giving yourself a hard time of celebrating because it feels like you're really trying to focus on those things in the past and wondering if you've made the right steps. And so there's this feeling of nostalgia and, you know, like not wanting this cycle to end and wanting to move forward, but really this push and pull of feeling kind of almost stuck, but you're not stuck. Like, the current energy is not at all something that's stuck. It's something that's moving forward. And then you have the world here, where it's all about, you know, completing these cycles and really moving forward. But it really feels like there are some perception issues if you got this reading, because it really feels like there's so much going on and so many things that you're kind of working on, but you're really like, I'm not getting anywhere, but you are getting somewhere. But there's this feeling of like really wanting to look at the past stuff and look at all the things that have happened in the past and really like reminisce about things. But I really feel like the bigger message here is to listen to that inner child, listen to that inner voice, and taking those lessons from the past. This could also mean that somebody from the past comes and you know, shows up in your life, which probably wouldn't be too bad, especially if you know where your place is with them and where they're places with you, and know that you are part of the process and the process is part of you. I feel like that's also really important to say, that the process is part of you and you are part of the process. You're the one who's decided to lay these foundations down for yourself. You're the one who's laid these little stepping stones for yourself and laid these seeds of growth and intention so that you could get to the space of completion and starting a new cycle. Because once you complete something, there is something else to go forward into. And it's really about going forward into that space and making sure that you're paying attention to your inner self, making sure that you're really paying attention to that inner guidance, because there is always something else on the horizon. I mean, there's construction going on next door. I don't know if you can hear it, but I think it's important to say, because sometimes there is these little stops in construction, like things happen and you're like, when is it going to be over so I can really enjoy this new home, or I can really enjoy this new space? When are the seeds going to grow? When can I see that happen? But then when that is done, when the construction is over, then there's this moving stage that happens, and then there's the living stage that happens. So there's always something else after that. And so the world is really about also knowing that even though one cycle's been completed and you've come across victorious, that there is another cycle that's starting then, because it's just one big circle. Again, you are part of the process and the process is part of you. It is a whole complete thing. And yes, there are some things that you may be longing for from the past. There may be this remembrance of a simpler time, this remembrance of something that used to be. But know that in this moment, in this now moment, you are complete. You've always been complete. And sometimes it is a little bit difficult, especially when you're going through this stage of where you're putting these seeds down, and the stage of where, you are really paying attention to what you are doing so that you can take the steps to move forward, and really waiting to enjoy the future. But this is the time for you to enjoy, like finding little steps, little feelings of gratitude, little steps, tilling the soil, finding the gratitude in having your hands in the soil, finding the gratitude in being able to make the choice, of where you want to go. I mean, you can't ever control the outcome, but you can control what you do along the way. And if you're not enjoying the parts that lead you towards where you want to go, then what's to say you're going to enjoy it when you get there? So really paying attention to that enjoyment part of yourself too. And yeah, things are not as bad as they feel, because it does feel like, even though there isn't anything in this reading, I'm really feeling that there is something that feels like this is really hard work. I want to really get to that space where I can be in this energy of the world, but then also remembering that what's past is past, and taking joy and pride in what you have here now, and taking, really listening to your heart, so that you can get that really clear perception for yourself. So those are your guidance readings for the month of September. I hope that they resonated. And as always, please, please, please take what makes sense to you in your heart, in your gut, in your intuition, and leave the rest behind, because these are general readings. So if something doesn't resonate or doesn't feel right, just throw it away. It's not meant for you then. But if something does, I would love to hear from you. I always love hearing how these readings resonate. You guys don't know how big a smile I get when I get a text message from somebody, or when I get an email from somebody, or when you guys comment and you let me know, like, hey, this was right on spot for me. And I think I even get a little bit more joy from when a reading doesn't make sense, and then I get a message from some of you guys like a month month later, 3 weeks into the month, and it's like, hey, now this reading makes sense. So that really is exciting because these are, again, general readings. So I'm just really like tuning into the energy of the readings and the energy of whoever's watching whenever you're watching this. And so it really does bring me joy. So if you want to share that with me by any means, either by text or by email or by comment here on the channel, it really just makes my day when I see that. So that's how you can repay me for these readings. As always, you can subscribe to my newsletter. If you are not part of my newsletter, the information is in the description box below. People on my newsletter also get weekly one-card readings, as well as information that I don't normally share on YouTube. So you get a little bit of extra, plus you get to hear from me on a weekly basis. So if you want to subscribe to my newsletter, the information is in the description box below. And that is it for now. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.